Local parents looking for extra learning help for their children often go to the Laughlin Center in Sewickley. For decades, the nonprofit center has offered educational support and counseling for any child who needs it. But that's not always what the Laughlin Center was about. Pittsburgh 360 contributor Beth Dolinar has the story of a hopeful place offering a lifetime of learning.
The place has been here on this corner in Sewickley for more than 50 years, knitted into the fabric of the village.
It's dark in here.
It's dark in here.
I feel something.
I feel something.
It has lots of hair. It has sharp teeth. It's a...
The Laughlin Center is all about the children. There's a class of preschoolers learning to cut with scissors at one end of the building. And down on the other end, a speech therapist is helping a student with his S's.
Say.
Stay.
Good. Look at me. See.
See.
Look at me. Sigh.
Sigh.
People know the Laughlin Center is for kids, but there's so much more to know.
We had people out in the community that thought we gave swimming lessons here. We don't have a pool. So that was both the surprise and the challenge for me, that such good work went on and yet we were pretty under the radar.
Doug Flory is the executive director here. He's one of a rather small staff that provides tutoring, speech therapy, learning support, and counseling to 1,200 students every year, and not just from Sewickley, but from all over Western Pennsylvania. The center has been here since 1956, but the whole idea for this started with one woman right up the hill from here. That woman was Mary Laughlin, whose family started the Laughlin Tube Company.
It's 1897, and she was a mom. Now, granted, she was a very wealthy mom, but she was a mom. She didn't have a PhD in child psychology. She wasn't a nurse. She wasn't a physician. She was a mom, and she recognized that there were children in her broader community that needed fresh air, that needed to be out from under, that industrial age pollution.
And so Mary strong-armed her husband into building a mansion, and she started moving mothers and their babies from the city to the fresh air home.
To me, that's part of the charm of the story, that it was a regular person who identified this need and then did something about it.
Mothers and children enjoyed the fresh air here for decades, with many returning for reunions. After a time, the home became a refuge for children with tuberculosis and polio. When Mary Laughlin died, she left a large bequest, and in 1956, the Fresh Air Home merged with the Sewickley Child Counseling Center to create the Laughlin Children's Center, a place Doug Flory says now stands on the shoulders of generations of smart and dedicated women. It's amazing that this all kind of rolled downhill from one mom.
I guess it sounds Pollyanna to be excited about something like that. But even today, I think what it speaks to is the common sense that some parents have and how you can trust that, I think that most parents who are concerned about and involved with their kids' lives shortchange themselves somewhat. There's a lot to be said for common sense.
3 of David and Devon Hopkins' children have been helped here, including a daughter who needed speech therapy.
Probably a couple of weeks when she started correcting my speech, and she would tell me, that it's fast, not fast. So I think a matter of weeks, we just started seeing her recognize, what some of the signals were in terms of enunciating and errors that she would make, and then she just kind of gained an ear for, what sounded appropriate and what did not.
That's their son Donovan in the preschool class.
A lot of it is building your kids' confidence so that they can make those corrections on their own and implement the things that they're learning here. So the Laughlin Center, I think it's a great place to empower your kids, help with all different variations of issues, and your child never feels like they have an issue. It's just extra support.
Other parents credit Laughlin with bridging the gap between what schools offer and what parents can do at home.
We can give our son the answers for second grade math. We clearly know how to do second grade math. What we don't know is to teach him how to learn second grade math, and then third grade math and fourth grade math and so on up the scale. And I think that's where you essentially bring someplace like the Laughlin in to be your specialist, to specialize in the part that you can't handle.
Especially for my son, Jack. He's one that looks for the easy answers. And I think for him, he was looking to come here and be told what to do, not how to do it. He's been given the tools to become more organized and become a better test taker, but he's the one who has to apply them in the classroom.
Now there's some change ahead. Construction is underway to turn a carriage house into the new digs for the preschool, and the speech therapy rooms will be bigger with observation space for parents. The center began as a place for children to breathe easier, and in a way, it still is that.
I wouldn't want to be a kid today. I wouldn't want to have to deal with the pressures of technology and the pressures of getting into the right schools, and the academic and social pressures that kids have now, I think, is much different than when we were children. That's a cloud that hangs over them. So if they can come here and work one-on-one with a clinician who's caring and an expert in her field and is devoted to bettering that student's academic performance or mental health or ability to communicate with the world, that gets them out from under that cloud of all of the other obligations.
And so that little idea from the mom up on the hill was the first pebble tossed into the lake, and it is rippling still.
We have parents who sent their children here. Those children now send their children here. So not only are we rippling from Sewickley to Moon and North Hills, but we're rippling through time too. We're serving generations of families, and I think that's really something to be proud of.
And because of the sizable endowment from Mary Laughlin and so many generous donors, the Laughlin Center keeps tuition below actual costs. And a high school student from Sewickley recently gave the Laughlin Center $10,000. He had been a Laughlin student himself.